Hey guys, Matt Straight Race Cards here, and happy Monday. Hope everyone is off to an awesome start to their week. Wanted to first say thank you to everyone that contributed to Hobby Palooza. I had never gotten to watch any Hobby Palooza content because I've always been out of town, and I was able to watch some this year. So just really love some great conversations. Loved, seeing Orlando and Sammy and Jason and Jeremy Lee and countless others that just super fun. Tony and Mike Petty, just really fun. So thank you to everyone who contributed to the awesome cause for Signatures for Soldiers. And, this week I have two pickups to show you, and there are two that bring a lot of meaning to me. So as I am in, the season and the summer of just slowing down and making my purchase more intentional, these two cards fit right in line. And so I wanted to share with you, some more meaningful and personal stories behind them. And so I hope you are encouraged by them, and I'm excited to show you these because they are two, not monetarily big cards, but big cards for me for what they represent. So I hope you guys, as you guys look at your purchase, think about what are the cards that bring meaning and value to you that goes much more beyond what a card is worth. So thanks guys, and have a great start to your week, and keep running the straight race. All right guys, I've got three things to show you. One is actually something that I've already shown, but I wanted to show this. This is a Charlie Gehringer autograph, and the reason I want to show this is today I'm actually going to be able to give this to one of my friends. So this is not something I'm going to keep, although after seeing this, I'd love to own a Gehringer auto. But why I decided to give this to a friend, he's not a baseball card guy, but he has a newborn son named Charlie. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to find something that was related to cards, that related back to a Charlie that was a man of integrity, and for someone, for young Charlie to look up to. So as I was reading about Charlie Gehringer and just the way he held himself on and on the field, I was just thinking about, man, that is someone who I want young Charlie to emulate. And so I'm giving him this autograph to remind him of that. So it'll be really fun to do that today. And I've had this for a while, and now I need to go get a Gehringer card or autograph myself. So I am putting that Diamond Stars Gehringer on my list because it's such a great card. So that is the first, it's not a pickup, but something I'm excited to show you guys. Next, okay guys, this is really cool. I have never owned a oversized card like this. I knew the Sportscaster 1977 through 79 Sportcaster cards were big. I just didn't know, sizing or any of that. So finally got one of these. Guys, COMC, $1 for this Bannister. But here's why I love this card. So when I look at Roger Bannister, for those who are not, intimately involved in the running world, may not know that Bannister was the first guy to break the 4-minute mile. And that was done on May 6th of 1954 in Oxford. And so as I'm looking at this card, it just reminds me of my childhood. I remember reading about Roger Bannister and thinking about, man, I want to break the 4-minute mile. The mile was something that my heart was set on doing, and I ultimately didn't end up becoming a miler. I moved up to the 5K and the 10K and the marathon. I think for me, my best mile time was a 4:16 in the middle of a 2,000 meter time trial. So who knows what I probably could have run. It probably would have been closer to 4:10, but wouldn't have quite gotten it. But that doesn't matter. What matters is when I look at this card, I think about the determination and grit and passion that, seeing a guy like Bannister helped propel me to. I wanted to be a great runner like him. And so this card just gives me back all those memories and just the sweetness that came from a life of running and a lifelong pursuit. And so it just reminds me to continue pursuing excellence at all costs. That whatever you do it with all your heart, as if you're working for the Lord and not for men. So I love that one. And then lastly, I am going to show you guys, and let me put on here we go. Here is the 1963 Topps NL home run leaders. All right, how many of you guys can think about a card that has 5 Hall of Famers? You've got Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, and Orlando Cepeda. I have never owned any of these players' cards except for a Hank Aaron, so this is my first Mays, first Robinson, Cepeda, and Banks card. And what I love about this card is when my kids saw the Floating Heads card, specifically this card, they literally started laughing out loud. My boys loved it. And so for me, this card reminds me of just the joy that comes from, my kids and their wonder and excitement for everything. And as I think about that, I'm just reminded of just this gratitude. I'll share a little bit of my story. So this last, 2 years ago was one of the hardest years of our life. We first lost one kid to a miscarriage, and then shortly after, in the following year of May 14th of 2023, we lost a little girl, Grace, at 20 weeks. It was a stillborn, one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And what was crazy is we ended up on May 14th of 2023, we held a little private, funeral ceremony for Grace. But God in his providence, on May 14th of 2024, we were able to have our newborn Merritt, who is now a little bit over 1 year, and she is just a bundle of joy. And so we named her after a hymn, the hymn All Sufficient Merit, to remind us of how God has been sufficient in our lives. And so as I look at this card, I'm reminded of the joy of my kids. I am reminded of the just sweetness it is and the blessing of kids and just God's faithfulness in our lives. So, how does a simple card from 1963 remind me of all that? Well, it does, and that's one of the many reasons why I love cards, is they can bring you so much more meaning than just a silly piece of cardboard. So I'll end with this. As you guys walk into the next few purchases, I challenge you, think about a way where you can take a card and pull much more meaning out of it than just adding it to a number that you're checking off your list. And it will bring you so much more meaning and satisfaction in this hobby. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all of you guys if you've hung along. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it's not your typical card story, but I always want to share things that are on my heart and part of my story and journey as you guys walk along this adventure of card collecting and life with me. So as always, keep running the straight race, friends.